About a year ago, I first picked up the game Apex Legends. A full year later, I'm still playing this game, but has the time that I've put in been worth it? I decided to take a look at my gameplay and find out. I came to the game as a complete novice to the Battle Royale genre. I'd played Valorant off and on since the beta, eventually peaking Silver 2, and before that, I'd gotten to Silver in League of Legends after more hours than I care to tell you. So I think it's pretty fair to say that I don't really consider myself overly gifted at video games or anything. During my year run of playing Apex, I had a decent amount of IRL stuff going on, but I did manage to get in about 400 hours of gameplay, which I think is pretty attainable for most people. So to break down my progress after a year, I decided to look at 4 different categories: my aim, my movement, my game sense, and then my overall stats. Sadly, I don't have any recorded gameplay from when I first started playing the game, since I never had the intention of making a video about this. But I will try to paint a picture of how it was then versus now as best I can for each category, starting with my aim. My aim was probably my strongest skill coming into Apex. I am certainly no aim demon, but my small amount of experience with Valorant and some aim training I had done then prepared me at least a little bit. Apex aim is a lot different from Valorant aim though, since it requires much more tracking than quick flicks and micro adjustments, so I definitely still struggled. When I started playing the game, I had a hard time even one-clipping the red dummies while strafing. Thankfully, I can now do this, and I've noticed my aim gradually improving over time. Here's a couple of clips just showing where I'm at with aim now. Okay, so I know that movement is not the most important thing for improving in Apex, but despite this, I chose to go down the movement rabbit hole almost from the beginning of my time playing the game. This is because my goal was never to become a pro Apex player or to speedrun Pred, but rather just to have as much fun as possible while getting as good at the game as I can overall. Movement is what makes the game fun for me, and it's why I've chosen Apex over other FPSs in the first place. I really enjoy sitting in the firing range and just trying out different techs. Over the course of the last year, I've learned to fade jump, tap strafe, wall bounce, super glide,
setting a portal.
and mantle jump. I've also been working a little bit on lurch strafes. I can do a simple ras strafe for example, but I haven't yet got the hang of chaining the lurch strafes together, and I still need some work on using them in fights. Just with movement in general, I've discovered that it's a lot easier to simply learn the movement techs than it is to actually use them in a fight to do something useful. This is what I'm focusing on right now with my movement, and one of the things that has helped me so far is to practice using my movement in mixtape games. There are more fights closer together to give me more practice, and if I screw something up in a fight and die, the consequences are far lower, so it's a lot less pressure. Game sense is a little bit harder to evaluate and showcase, and I feel like it's one of those things where, as a newer player, I really don't know enough to know how bad my game sense is. I think overall my game sense is pretty weak at the moment. Some things I'm working on right now though are to be the one to call out when our team needs to take positions from somebody else, and I'm working on getting a handle on rotations and how they work. Finally, here are my current stats in the game, season by season. You might notice my KD is a little bit lower this season so far, but I think a lot of the reason for that is that I have been practicing solo versus duos a lot more lately, which has lowered my overall KD. And speaking of solos and duos, I do just want to let you guys know that literally last week, I just got my first ever solo squad wipe in solo versus duos, and I actually got 2 squads in the same game even. Boom. Let's go.
Нужно перезарядить. Вражеский щит пробит. Перезаряжаю щиты.
God. I know, it's not exactly Fade gameplay, but this was a huge moment for me because I've never wiped an entire squad as a solo against real players before, and I gotta tell you, it felt pretty awesome. I also do want to be perfectly honest with you guys and mention that this 2000 damage game in Season 17 was against bots. I actually just got my first real 2K badge at the very end of last season, which was a few weeks ago. I thought about going through my legend trackers and weapon stats, but I don't think those numbers really mean that much anyway. So I'll just tell you that I've pretty much only played Wraith, Horizon, and Bloodhound. My favorite weapons right now are the Hemlock, Nemesis, R9, and Wingman, though the Wingman is in the care package right now, obviously. So what do you all think? After a year of playing the game, is this enough progress to justify the time I've put in? Overall, I'm pretty happy with my progress, although it's clear to see that I still have a long way to go. I think the big takeaway here overall is that this game takes a lot of time to master. So if you are newer like me, I would say don't get too down on yourself just because you're not where you want to be yet. In a video from Wraith Crew, who is an excellent coaching YouTuber that I highly recommend, he classifies everyone with less than 2,000 hours as new to the game. He says he only considers a person to be a more seasoned player once they have reached between 2,000 and 5,000 hours. Long story short, Apex is a game that takes a lot of time to get good at. So I think the best thing we can do is just to have fun with it and enjoy our time. Thanks for watching, and subscribe if you want to see any more content like this, or if you just want to follow me as I struggle through the journey myself. And that's it. Bye!